Hello everyone, welcome to my review of XDEFIANT, the brand new first-person free-to-play shooter game from Ubisoft that puts an emphasis on fast-paced, multiplayer action with teams of 6 versus 6 in mostly objective-based matches. We'll be going first over the things that I like about this game, then we'll move over to the issues that I have with this game at current build in the current season, and lastly, we'll finish with an overview plus a few suggestions that I have how to upgrade and improve the game. So, is this the COD killer everyone tries to advertise as? Well, let's find out. So let's start by the things I do like in this game, starting with graphics. Now sure, in terms of graphics, the game is not the most high-tech, most high-end game there is. You won't be seeing Crisis level graphics, sure, but this is actually a good thing. One, because it's a lot more stable than what Call of Duty uses, with all of their crashings and the memory leaks that they experience in each and every COD game. There are memory leaks and such until they fix it much later in the lifespan of the game. And second, this makes this game a lot more accessible than Call of Duty. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 told me back in 2019 that my 970 GTX was the bare minimum, just above the bare minimum needed to launch and play the game. So imagine the requirements for Call of Duty. So this game makes it a lot more accessible even for people with low-end machines. And there's also that thing of not needing to download and cache shaders in the background, which is an absolute disease in Call of Duty. I experienced that a lot, and I hate that feature of that engine where it constantly downloads and caches shaders in the background. So here we don't have that problem, and what we're getting is actually a far smoother, far more stable game at launch than Call of Duty. So this is one good point for Ubisoft. The second thing that I like about this game is the announcers. Unlike Call of Duty, where you had the British guy for the good guys and the Russian guy for the bad guys, and basically that's it, here each of the factions has their own announcer with their own distinct lines and their own distinct attitudes towards things that happen during the game. So for instance, if you're playing and you died like 3 or 4 times in a row without killing anyone, the Echelon announcer will tell you that you're a pro and that you're going to bounce back from this. But the Libertad's announcer and the Cleaners announcer will take it in entirely different directions. This really adds a layer of soul to the game that I haven't felt like since the days of Unreal Tournament. So really, Ubisoft, it's not 1 point, it's 2 points for the creativity on this one. Good job, guys, good job. The third thing that I like about this game is the gunplay and gun progression. The gunplay itself, it feels good. The weapons themselves, they feel impactful and fun to use. This kind of remind me of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 gunplay, which was also fantastic, and I also like the fact that you need to actually use your guns in order to unlock attachments. Unlike aforementioned Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, where you opened categories for your weapons, meaning that if you unlocked an infrared sight on the M4 at level 30, you could attach that same sight for an AK level 6, because you've unlocked the sights category. So here you have to actually grind your weapons in order to unlock those improvements. That is great, and I really like that. And lastly, what I like about the game is the factions themselves. I'm not talking about DedSec or the GSK right now. I'm talking about the base 4. So the base 4 factions are clearly divided by functionality and roles. The Cleaners are obviously the DPS faction. They revolve around setting everyone on fire. They have passive fire damage. They deal with anyone they shoot, no matter what weapon they use. So shotguns, LMGs, pistols, everybody just gets set on fire. They have napalm drones to kill entire teams that are defending a single objective. They have a firebomb to destroy enemies that surround them. So for instance, they run at you like suicides, and then they throw a firebomb on the ground to burn you while they don't die from it. So yeah, that's kind of great. And their ultra is unleashing a huge flamethrower that insta-kills anyone it touches. The Phantoms, for instance, are clearly the tanks, as they start with 120 health instead of 100 and have access to either deployable shield or riot shield. And their ultra is something like they project around themselves a shield dome, and they have sort of a energy shotgun that insta-kills anyone that gets close to them. So they're like a walking energy shield wherever there might be a team that camps at a certain position. They use that ultra to absorb the damage taken, while friendlies inside that shield dome can fire back at the campers, essentially. So that is also great. The Libertads are the medics. They enjoy higher health regeneration than any other faction and deploy health regeneration items to heal nearby allies. They can also heal nearby allies faster just by being close to them. Their ultra is a health boost that raises their health bar up to 200, as well as any nearby ally. So if you're holding down a position, say in domination, then you just made your entire squad become very tanky and very hard to kill. And the last faction are the Echelon, who are the scouts, and the ones I nicknamed the wallhack faction, because that's basically all they do. They either skulk around in active camo trying to scare the living hell out of players, or they use wall hacks to reveal enemy positions behind walls, and their ultra is an even more upgraded version of the wall hacks, which reveals all enemy positions on the map regardless where they are, and they get for 15 seconds an insta-kill pistol who just by shooting someone with one bullet is enough to kill him regardless of his health points, regardless of whether he is, I think, behind a shield or not. What I mean by this is that I like how the factions complement one another with their abilities, which promotes team play a lot more than what you'll see in Call of Duty. In Call of Duty, for instance, everyone just runs around like headless chicken, shooting up the place and occasionally just going for the objective. So, again, 1 point for Ubisoft not falling down the pit of just having a first-person shooter, a generic first-person shooter that is not different than anything else, and actually trying to think and come up with something new and refreshing to the oversaturated first-person shooter market. And now that we're done with the good things that I like about this game, let's talk about some of the issues that I have with the game.
Capture zone contested.
Alright, so now we have arrived into the con section, or the issue section. This is where I talk about the things that annoy me the most about this game. Starting with bunny hopping. Bunny hopping right now is an absolute disease within the game, to the point where I believe it is worse than COD, as people try every exploit they can find to cheese their way into higher kill death ratios at the expense of other people's fun or other players' experiences. This is compounded by the fact that the game's physics engine isn't as well done as it should be, letting players change directions mid-flight while jumping, and making it all the while harder for the guy on the receiving end to actually kill the bunny hopper before he is killed himself. Thankfully, the outcry about this was so loud it reached Ubisoft, which led Ubisoft to implement several anti-bunny hopping features, like aiming penalties for those who bunny hop a lot, but this has yet to show any reduction of this very annoying phenomenon. My second issue with the game is that basically hipfire hits nothing. if you encounter an enemy player from 5 to 10 meters away from you and you don't ADS him, then prepare to see him become Neo from the Matrix as you empty an entire magazine and hit him maybe once or twice. Now, I have seen some kind of increase in hipfire accuracy since Season 1 rolled out, but nothing major, and why it bothers me is because when I encounter a bunny hopper, I can't just shoot him, and by the time I ADS him, I'm already dead basically. So this really annoys me because it happens too often, and essentially I don't have anything to tackle the bunny hopping issue because I can't just see a bunny hopper and shoot him. I have to ADS him, and when it's done straight up my face, then it's almost impossible to actually hit him or actually kill him. Rarely are the occasions where I actually get to kill a bunny hopper, mostly from a distance, but not when it's up close, and this is why it really annoys me that hipfire basically doesn't work in this game. The third issue that I have with this game is basically snipers. Now, you might say that it is to be expected that snipers will be part of any Modern Warfare styled multiplayer shooter game. Yeah, but god damn it, basic sniper rifles being able to one-shot you halfway across the map is goddamn annoying. Now, I will give credit to Ubisoft on two things here. One is that the maps are made mostly with cover from high walls to debris that conceal the movement of the player and reduce the clear lines of sight on most of the maps. And the second point is that I saw since Season 1 reduction in the health that the sniper rifle reduces, so it reduces only 90% of your health, but not kill you in one shot outright. But still, there are several lanes in some of those maps with clear lines of sight for 50, 60, 70 meters away. And if you see that glint, then congratulations, you've just immigrated to Sniper Valley. So just hand salute the world, I guess, because you're about to get owned. The last issue that I have with this game basically revolves around the fact that the game takes like between 3 to 4 to 5 minutes just to find enough people to play, to start a new match. What do I mean by this is, from the time the last match ends until the next match starts, I'm just staring at the menu for like 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, just waiting, hoping, praying that player list will fill so that I'll be able to start and play my game. All I want is to play the game. I don't want to stare at the menu for like 15 minutes out of every hour on average. I don't want that. It's annoying. It psychs me. It takes me completely out of the game and out of the game experience. Instead of like in Call of Duty, where I on average wait for like 30 seconds between the end of the last match and the start of the next. Here I'm waiting 5 minutes. What the hell? Now, I don't know what's the source of this issue. Maybe it's the servers were too slow. Maybe it's an issue with some of the players. Maybe it's the community just being small. Not many people are playing this game because a lot of people have vowed never to touch a Ubisoft game ever again. I don't know what's the issue, but it needs to be resolved, and it needs to be resolved fast, because this issue is something that will probably keep a lot of people from playing this game, as it frustrates the players to the point where they're starting to think maybe there is something better that they can do in their lives other than sitting down and playing the Ubisoft game. So Ubisoft, if out of all of these issues that I talked about in this section, fix this first. And now that we are done with the issues or the rant or the ramblings, now let's go to the conclusion, where I talk about what I think about this game in general and have a few suggestions how to improve this game in the future to, I don't know, appeal to a wider audience and also probably be able to compete with the game that it set out to compete, which is COD, obviously. So, in order to conclude this review, let's answer the question we set out to answer. Is this game a COD killer? Well, it's absolutely not, in my opinion, nor can it threaten Call of Duty in its current form. It might be able to compete with Call of Duty in the future, but it requires Ubisoft being smart about how they handle and move forward with the game, and this is where I'm starting to be skeptical. Firstly, in my opinion, this game just has to have bots. It will reduce the waiting time between matches drastically and give lower ranking players something to earn XP from, keeping the grind a bit less grindy, and it works well as a player retention strategy, as right now people will use just about every exploit possible to cheese their way to higher kill death ratios at the expense of everyone else's fun and ruining people's player experiences. Secondly, in my opinion, this game needs to have a lot more content in order to compete against COD, because COD is basically the ultimate gaming offer. COD offers single player, multiplayer with or without vehicles, with or without bots, in small maps or in large open maps. It has Warzone, it has DMZ, it has co-op, it has ground warfare and invasion, and they're even reintroducing wave zombies for Black Ops 6. So no other game can compete with COD directly, because no other game offers so many games within one game for the same price. So I think this game needs to have a lot more content to become as appealing to a wider audience as COD is. Maybe add a Warzone style game mode, maybe port Rainbow Six Siege's extraction game mode, because we know that the thing that sells right now the most is PvE. And this again is why I'm skeptical Ubisoft will be able to pull it off, because it's a lot to think about, and Ubisoft is not a company known for its smarts. What I think they're trying to do here is basically siphon COD fans from playing COD, which on paper is not supposed to be that hard, because many Call of Duty fans are just sick and tired of Activision's shenanigans by now, and yet Call of Duty sells by the millions each year. So in my opinion, it's a solid shooter that has lots of glaring issues that needs to be fixed, but above all requires a lot more content to really be able to stand out among the crowded market of fast-paced multiplayer shooters. So this is the review. This is my opinion on the game. Tell me what you think about this game in the comments. Like and subscribe if you haven't and you reached this far into the video, and I will see you in future videos.